Welcome back. Welcome in. It's Country Roads Confidential at earsports.com. This is a Paramount podcast. I am Mike Casaza here early on Saturday morning, just about 2 a.m. Not yet final in Provo, Utah. That means Chris Anderson, you and I have once again continued our tradition of doing our rapid reaction podcast before the game is over. That's not a good sign, huh?
No, it's not a good sign, but it's to be expected when I think each of the last three games is what, a 30-point loss, 30-point loss, and currently looking like a 21-point loss for West Virginia tonight against BYU.
Yeah, three straight losses now by a combined 90 points. So yeah, 30-point losses, like you said. That'll do it. This one kind of deceiving. Um, I don't want to say that West Virginia had no business being in it, but BYU, a team that has not turned the ball over a bunch, um, near its goal line too. Short fields for West Virginia, a team that had 7 points off turnovers all year in the first 5 games, gets 14, and then I don't know, Chris, 38-17 late in the fourth. They can't get the ball over from the 1 yard line. Not that 38-24 is any different, but um, I don't know. Am I wrong here to not be completely discouraged despite another significant point spread here?
No, I don't think you're wrong, because honestly, I was debating with myself before we hopped on here.
Mm,
First, I'm focused more on one side of the ball with this comment, but like, what do we think of the defense? Because I think I put in our staff thread, they simultaneously kept West Virginia in the game and simultaneously gave the game away.
yeah.
And I was like, so am I encouraged by what I saw from the defense, which was the three turnovers, some guys flying all around the field, a little bit of pressure on the quarterback? Or am I discouraged by the fact that they gave up so many big pass plays, so many big, like just momentum killing plays? And again, we talked about the pass plays before, said, hey, BYU doesn't pass the ball down the field. They had two 30-plus yard pass plays in 4 games. And then they had, was it four by halftime against West Virginia? So I don't know what to think about the defensive side of the ball. I'm with you. I don't know if I'd say I'm completely discouraged by this, what happened tonight. I mean, they're on the road at BYU playing at 10:30 again, like half the game at midnight. It was past midnight before halftime against a top 25 opponent. So not expecting good things to happen.
Yeah, 351 yards. Oh, there's a touchdown. Cam Vaughn. How about that? From Scotty Fox, Chris. The plot thickens. So yeah, 38-24. Now you want that first and goal or fourth and goal from the one back, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
BYU is going to finish 351 yards passing as we're talking. Chris, that's on 18 completions, so that's pretty good. It's about 20 yards completion. Um, yeah, not a team that passes very long from the very beginning. First play from scrimmage, they go deep. Six of their completions total 262 yards. So they got their damage done in big scoops of ones, which is again not encouraging for the defense here. However, two short fields on turnovers. One drive was 3 yards, one drive was 22 yards, and they get two touchdowns off of that. And again, a team that could not score off of turnovers and also wasn't causing turnovers the past 2 games. That's good. And something in the middle. Again, it's never as bad. It's never as good. They did find some time. They didn't really get run over today. I know that the number is going to be when you look at the yardage, but I think they're going to probably end up around 135, 140 yards rushing, but 486 yards of offense. And I wonder here, Chris, if this isn't one of those things where BYU says running back's a little bit hurt. We don't want our quarterback running it a ton. Hey, maybe we can light these guys up to the air, and they certainly did that today. They're going to have two receivers with over 100 yards, both four catches, both targeted 5 times. And when they needed plays, they found them. And now you're just thinking, all right, are they picking on the secondary? Because that's the part that has bent a little bit in Big 12 play.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, heck, even Michael Coates is somebody who would say, well, they picked on everybody but Coates. And tonight he got burned a couple times. Again, some of it, like the big pass, I believe that was the one to Roberts where Coates was guarding him, defending him. And Roberts just a quick slant. And you could see it. I believe it was Taylor. That
Mm.
was the free safety there, back of that safety spot. Completely bit on the play action and that just opened it wide open. Like, was that the best coverage from Coates? No, he kind of got turned around, but there's also supposed to be some help right there on the inside. So he is supposed to be shading his defense outside because he's supposed to have help on the inside, but instead he doesn't because Taylor's biting on that fake handoff. So I don't know. I mean, it's not one clear answer. It's not one clear problem back there, but I do think I don't know if they can try new guys because I believe it was Carter who came in. I was like, oh, they brought in Derek Carter. It's going to get him some reps.
Mhm.
And then he immediately gave up a big pass play and it was like, all right, now where did they go? Now what's the problem? And all I thought about, Mike, not all I thought about, but something I was thinking about was what Rich Rodriguez said during the press conference on Tuesday
Mhm.
when he was asked about this defense. And he said something to the effect of they're trying to find a solution for everything. Like almost like the defense is trying to do too much. And that's the problem. Is that the problem? Do they need to tone it down, simplify things here for the defense?
You know, Ali even said that this week, like especially in a short week, there may be things you want to get into. There may be things that perhaps you can get into that BYU doesn't like based on film. They just didn't have the time to do that this week. I get that. It looked like a team that didn't have a lot of time to do what it needed to do to get everything right. Really can't be the excuse the second half of the year. Not that that's an excuse. I would think that they're going to have to, instead of doing, I mean, here's this defense that succeeded for the first half of the season by just having an array. It was the Chinese food menu. It just had one option after another, after another, after another. You probably don't need that. Maybe you're trying to figure out what you do in that first part of the season. You try 12 or 15 things, and ultimately you carry six, eight, nine into a game, something like that. That's probably more their style going forward. And again, I just wonder if they got picked on, whether it's personnel, if there were things they saw, because we've just never seen BYU do that, but we've seen West Virginia's defense, especially through the air, have issues like that. Quarterback Chris, I don't want to go there. Um, I just know that Scotty Fox comes in and rips off a big run when Khalil Wilkins gets hit hard. Wilkins runs 23 times tonight and got hit probably 23 times.
Yeah.
And Fox comes in, gets a big run, and also he does a touchdown pass. He gets the ball to Cam Vaughn, which is a good thing to do. Vaughn was targeted, I think, 6 times before that for no catches. Fox comes in, 2 catches. What is it going to be? 2 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown once Fox comes in. I'm not saying that we have a quarterback controversy. I just think that these two are going to be nipping on one another's heels the rest of the way. And while you see it in Wilkins for sure, I think you see it in Fox. I don't know that you have all your chips on one side of the table here. I would imagine these two are probably going to be the prominent figures the rest of the way.
All right. Because I agree with everything you just said there. So let me ask you a question. Three different starters so far, quarterback for West Virginia. Over under 3.5 total starters for West Virginia quarterback for the rest of for the season.
Hmm. I'll go over. like
Okay, I
I
was
just
gonna say, essentially, I'm asking you, is Scotty Fox going to start or a long shot Max Brown going to start?
yeah,
Like at
I
some
think
point.
so. I mean from the very beginning, like Wilkins just throws his face into the fan when he runs. That's going to add up. He took some big shots today. Again, came out of the game once. Just seemed like he was picking himself up a couple times, going, "Holy cow, this is what this is like." You hope he doesn't get hurt. I'm not saying that, but I just wanted that adds up. And again, they like Fox. There's no doubt about that. I think that he had his eyes open to what this is like before. Wilkins has been around a little bit longer, at least to the college level, even if it's in practice. Like he's practiced for 1+ season here. Fox is not. So I don't think you put Fox in the scratch and ding bin and say, oh, well, sunk loss there. I think he's probably got a chance. And then you let these two go, and that's going to be good for everybody. And you make sure you have the best guy out there. I wouldn't be surprised if a healthy Khalil Wilkins gets overtaken by Fox either. I just don't think that they know for sure this guy or this guy is the one. And what else are you going to do with this season, Chris? This is increasingly looking like a team that's not going to make a bowl at 2-4. You're going to have to figure out the future. One of those two, and if not, you go into the portal, which is probably what they're going to do anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think we definitely got the answer to our question from earlier in the week of is the 2026 starting quarterback on the roster? And we both said probably not. And again, that's you saw some flashes from Wilkins. Again, you saw he's got a little wiggle in his run. He had a couple nice throws, and some of them were just he didn't get much help from his receivers. I don't think Cam Vaughn with that one that kind of deflected up gets intercepted. There was another one where they eventually scored anyway, but he's scrambling, buying time, buying time, buying time, and then whips one right, threads the needle right into Jacob Barrick's hands and just bounces off his hands in the end zone. And again, it looks fine, looks good, look some good, some bad. So not writing either of these guys off yet, but yeah, 3.5. Should I put the line at 4.5? Do you think two more quarterbacks start? Is Max Brown and Scotty Fox? Come on.
Max Brown on senior day, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about running back? Is Dior Hubbard? I mean,
Well, it's not
because
Clay
again,
Ash now. I think they put the Clay Ash experiment on hold for a little bit. Edwards travels, dresses. He really gets put in a tough spot. Guy hadn't played in what 2+ weeks, almost 2 full weeks. When did he play? Pitt, so almost 3 weeks, right? Haven't played,
yeah,
and they run him out cold for a 4th and 1. Well, guess who's getting the ball? Probably going to be number
yeah.
two, and he gets swallowed. That was a tough spot for him. He gets one more carry toward the end. I'm not out on him. I just don't know when he's going to be healthy. Like hip pointers have a mind of their own. You could be fine and just step wrong, slip wrong, slide on the wet turf, whatever, and all of a sudden that's back. That could be an issue. I don't know that Hubbard's been so great, Chris. I mean, he's 10 for 61 last week and 29 is on one carry. Do the math in my head. That's 9 carries for 32 yards, and the rest today he's 17 carries for 32 yards. So that is 26 carries for 64 yards. Um, Khalil Wilkins had fewer carries and more yards today. I'm not sure Hubbard's the answer here either. So no Bowers today. Edwards is going to come back. I don't know what you do with Clay Ash, but again, that's a redshirt freshman who was probably undercooked and put on the table too soon because of what happened in front of him. I don't think that's done either. I imagine you're going to see a lot of competition and not much continuity there. They just can't give up on that position of those players yet.
All right. I mean, there's honestly, I don't know what else there is to talk about with this game, so I kind of want to go into
Well, let
more.
me let me let me hit you with this one.
Yeah,
This is 38-24. Does that feel about right based on what you saw?
yeah. I mean, it was a sloppy game. What West Virginia had a couple turnovers. They forced three turnovers,
Mhm.
and honestly, it's like two or three big pass plays,
Mhm.
and the fact that the turnovers for BYU, like that West Virginia committed, resulted in such short fields that the offense didn't have to do much on those, and it felt like BYU was quick striking all the time when in reality they quick struck like twice, but
Mhm.
then had two short fields and didn't have to do much to score again.
Yeah.
So yeah, 38-24 sounds about right.
It's 28-10 at the half. And you're thinking, gosh, BYU's had the ball so much, they've run so many plays. No, West Virginia had the ball more and ran more plays, just didn't do enough with it. And then if I'm looking at final numbers here, final yardage is 516 to 291, including 351 for the air. Um, Chris, what team was 7 for 14 on third down?
Yeah, West Virginia. Because I was ready to bring it up because that was my hey, what are we talking about after the game? And it was end of possession plays. And if you would have told me West Virginia was 50% from on third down, I'd have been like, hey, things went pretty well for West Virginia tonight, but obviously did not.
BYU 4 for 12, but 4 for 4 on third down. And I think they scored touchdowns on three and a field goal on one. So chances got the field and do nothing. And then the big one that adds up 7.7 yards per play, whatever. That's a good number. But West Virginia 4.5. They have about the same number of plays. BYU's going to outstep them by two just because of kneel downs. So if they're even and then your 3 yards of play better, that's 195 more yards. Whew, that's how you add the difference there. And that's kind of how this one turns out the way it does. Also, significance BYU in the red zone 7 times. Took a knee at the end, so really just six, but five scores. West Virginia 2 for 3, and again they get stoned on the goal line on 4th and 1. That'll happen there too. Team in need of a break for sure. I don't know what the damage is here. I saw a lot of guys go out but come back in, but no Oren Singleton, no Sincere Bowers, no Devin Grant, no Jaden Bray, no Jaheim White, just on and on and on here, and a couple guys left. I think a lot of them came back in if I remember correctly here, going through my head. Russell came back in, Carrico came
Mhm.
back in, Oxley came back in. So who knows? But certainly they need a day off, and then get some fun in the sun. They'll go to Orlando and play UCF here. Probably not feeling better. That's the thing about this. Like, oh, a moral victory. No, you're 2-4 going in into an open week right now. You don't feel great about anything, and it's not going to be an off week either. I'm sure they're going to work them pretty hard. They give them a rest for sure, but all these position battles we're talking about in the middle of the season battles that'll keep things going for the time being. And then I would imagine on defense, I don't know where there aren't questions on defense. Some guys had good games today, but I would think anything there you would upgrade any position if you could on defense.
Over under 3.5, 2.5 changes to the starting lineup out of 22 positions. 2.5, over under 2.5 over during the bye week.
Two's a big number, Chris. Isn't that
Okay.
weird?
Yeah.
I would probably go under. I mean, two might be it. Chris, they ran the same offensive line out there again today, and I don't think that they got beaten badly in the offensive line, but they just didn't run the ball again, and their
Yeah.
running is with the quarterback. I'm not that's not easy, especially with the redshirt freshman, but you're kind of unaccounted for sometimes, or you have the extra blocking up front, but their running backs aren't getting it done. And what was the talking point this week? Well, we got these guys in games. We got Haslam and Agbo and Isosa in there. We'll play them. We'll see what happens. In the normal flow of game, I don't think they got one snap. We didn't see the final drive and a half or drive two drives. Um, didn't happen. And again, I didn't see those guys getting rocked backwards. I don't think either quarterback got sacked, if I'm correct. So it wasn't their worst effort. It might be getting better. Yeah, no sacks. Might be getting better, but what happened there? Thought you were going to see more things. And again, you could put that on tape and then take into the open week, and you got two performances now you can look at. Didn't see that. So I would assume that this is just the continuation of the season long point. They have who they have, and they're going to play who they have.
I just assumed, Isosa or somebody dropped under 300 pounds, so they were eliminated from contention for playing time.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay.
Do you think BYU's there at the end? 5-0, back to back years now. Did okay last year. That quarterback looks like he's figuring things out. Um, wow, Martin ended up with 90 yards rushing. I didn't realize that. Do you think they're there at the end?
I might be a bad person to ask because I didn't believe in BYU last year. I didn't really believe in them to start this season, but they got a lot of nice pieces. I mean, if their quarterback's going to be throwing the way he threw against West Virginia tonight,
Mhm.
then I think it is possibly sustainable because that brings some diversity to their offense. Like if you just go into the rest of the season with the kind of stale, safe, like we talked about, like protecting the egg kind of offense that they had through the first 4 weeks, I
Mhm.
don't think that's sustainable. But if they can mix in some of these big pass plays and they can get some of those big hitters, maybe they are real. Maybe they are a potential playoff team.
Ooh, playoff team. Oh, okay. I was thinking would they be in the mix for the Big 12 title game, which I guess would get you to the playoff. I wonder, can the quarterback keep doing that? The running game, they don't have a back. The backup running back was hurt, but they're looking for depth there. I don't know that they're as explosive passing the ball as they were today. Maybe they are now. Maybe that's something they're going to uncover and throw people. And I wonder about the injury to Joe Kelly because that
Mhm.
kind of that I don't know that made things easier for Wilkins, but like you could overlap the injury when he started to get going a little bit. That's a guy who spies the quarterback and runs all over the field and tries to knock him out. You could watch what he did to Caden Slater last week. Uh, Not to the same player, but the same assignment. Keep your eyes on Wilkins and spy him. And when he wasn't in there, Wilkins was a little bit better, I think. Um, I don't know. That'd be an interesting one too. But I was on the field for Utah before the game, and I was like, "Holy mackerel! These guys are really big, bigger than West Virginia in a lot of spots, especially in the trenches." I wasn't on the field at Pro Bowl. Those BYU guys, especially in the trenches, look better. Their receivers look bigger, tight ends look bigger. Like West Virginia's linebackers aren't really big anyways, but that looked like a size disadvantage there. And again, just in the trenches, I don't think West Virginia has huge defensive linemen, but the offensive line for BYU was pretty good. But again, wasn't a blowout up front, I don't think. No sacks, but didn't get run over, and it took 20 something carries for Martin, who's a really good running back, to get 90 yards. Um, could have been worse for sure, but again, final score is one way or the other. It's kind of deceiving. Maybe it should have been 14 or 21, but it wasn't. It wasn't 48-10, which it was, last week, and it wasn't 41-10, which it was the week before. I'm not saying they're better, but they probably do. They probably do answer some questions in this game about, all right, what position has gotten better, what concern has been alleviated a little bit. I don't think he could have said that after the last two games. Everything was heightened after those two outcomes.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up, Mike, before the rooster starts crowing and the sun
Okay.
comes up.
Um,
Um, what do you
very
got this
competitive
week?
game, by the way.
Yeah, he was flying all over the place. Like he's not a guy that's going to slow down, which is always good.
Mm, that's good. Yeah. So listen, tomorrow or today is Saturday. We're treating this like
Yeah,
Sunday. We'll have a lot of our game day after the game stuff. Odd number of texts for text from game day. I didn't know how that was going to go. They certainly faded toward the end, but there are probably going to be some plays that change the game. We'll have some things we weren't expecting. Power rankings, yeah. Got to wait till Sunday, right?
that'll go Sunday. Yeah, gotta wait for everybody else. Report card will be up tomorrow though, or today, later today. So look
Yeah,
out for that. I'm curious who might have some good grades.
we'll have some ideas for next week. No media at all next week for football. They're just flipping the light switch off. Said that even before they lost tonight's game. So don't expect any head coach or player or coach interviews. Basketball on Thursday. I don't know, Chris. I'm sure I'll plan to talk about. Luckily, this is like right in the middle of the season, so we can do first half reports, second half previews, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Right up our alley. Anything else there?
Yeah, baseball scrimmage Sunday. Taking on Kentucky.
Is that
They
true?
got, yeah, one against Kentucky, and no, it's not anymore. It's in Ohio. Like I think
Mm.
they're meeting halfway or something like that. And then later in the month, it's like 3 weeks from now, they're taking on Wake Forest. So baseball's get a little frisky, ready to get some baseball going.
Are these secret scrimmages and you crack the code, or are these public?
No, they publicized it. They put it out there.
I don't get these rules. Like basketball, you're just forbidden to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right, well, that'll wrap it up. West Virginia falls to 2-4, three straight losses by combined 90 points. 0-3 in the Big 12, first time since 22, I think.
Shoot.
Worst start is 0-4. That was back in the 4-8 season. So got time to fix this, but again, you gotta win three now before you lose. You gotta win four before you lose two. That's not good.
Yeah.
Numbers are, because I guess bowl eligibility is all that's left. So we'll see how it goes starting on Monday. Until then, I'm Mike Casas.
And I'm Chris Anderson.
We'll talk to you then.